Good afternoon, class. I'll be continuing with the same chapter. Chapter 6, the Gupta age, page number is 181, and these are the topics which I am going to discuss with you today. In the last class, I've explained up to Samudragupta. So today's first topic is Chandragupta to Vikrama Aditya 375 CE to 414 CE. Samudragupta was succeeded by his equally brilliant son Chandragupta II or Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Chandragupta inherited the qualities of his father and accomplished the difficult task of carrying Gupta power to its end. So Samudragupta was succeeded by his son Chandragupta II or Chandragupta Vikramaditya. As this Chandragupta II also inherited the qualities of his father and accomplished the difficult task of carrying Gupta power to its limits. Conquest of Chandragupta II. Chandragupta began his military career by attacking the kingdoms of the west. He defeated and annexed the Saka kingdom of Gujarat and Kathiawar Peninsula and earned the title of Sakari. His western campaign was very important for the following regions. So, Chandragupta began his military career by attacking the kingdoms in the west. So he defeated and annexed the Saka kingdom of Gujarat and Kathiawar Peninsula and earned the title of Sakari. So his campaign was very important because of the following regions. Let's see the regions. What are the following regions? It's put an end to the 300-year-old foreign rule of the satraps. So it put an end to the his annexation put an end to the 300 years old foreign rule of the satrap. Satrap means the province. In that province, that foreign rule was came to an end. It gave him the commercially rich state of Gujarat and Kathiawar, which was easy access to the western world. Chandragupta II also conquered rebellious tribes of Bengal and crossed the Sindhu river to conquer Bactria. So this annexation gave him commercially rich state of Gujarat and Kathiawar, which was in easy access to the western world. So Chandragupta II also conquered the rebellious chiefs of Bengal and he also crossed the Sindhu river to conquer Bactria. Chandragupta established matrimonial alliances with powerful royal families. He married Princess Kubernaga of the Naga family and had a daughter Prabhapatigupta, who was married to Vakataka king Rudrasena II. It is believed that matrimonial alliance helped Chandragupta to his military campaign. So Chandragupta established a good matrimonial alliance with the powerful royal kings, and because of these matrimonial alliances helped Chandragupta in his military campaign. Personal achievement of Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II issued a large number of gold, copper and silver coins. The silver coins of both Samudragupta and Chandragupta show the picture of bird Garuda, vehicle of Lord Vishnu, which proved that they were followers of Vishnu. So Chandragupta issued a large number of gold, copper and silver coin. The gold coin of Samudragupta and Chandragupta show the picture of bird Garuda. Garuda is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, which proved they were the followers of Vishnu. Fahim, who visited India during the reign, mentioned that the people of Chandragupta, the people in the kingdom of Chandragupta were happy. Those who were cultivated the land paid a portion of the profit, and the king rules without any capital punishment. According to some scholars, there were 9 gems in the court of Chandragupta, and one of them was the great poet Kalidasa. So, according to Fahim, who visited India during the reign, mentioned that the people of the people of the kingdom of the Chandragupta were happy. Those who cultivated the land paid portion of the profit that given by the king. So, there is no rule. And the king rules without king rule without any capital punishment. According to some scholar, there were 9 gems in the court of Chandragupta, and one was the great poet Kalidasa. Chandragupta will be remembered in the history as the emperor who consolidated the foundation of the Gupta Empire, created by his father for ending reign and became a famous ruler. Next is Kumaragupta. Kumaragupta 1, 414 CE to 555 CE. After Chandragupta Vikramaditya, the second son Kumaragupta I, by his wife Dhruva Swamini inherited the Gupta throne. R.D. Banerjee said he long reign of over 40 years was by far the most prosperous period in the total reign of Gupta dynasty. During the reign, commerce with the Western world increased and there were huge influx of foreign goods. Art and architecture and flourished during the reign. His numerous gold, silver and gold coins were considered to be brilliant specimen of art. Kumaragupta I inherited the vast empire painstakingly created by his father and grandfather. He did not undertake any military expedition and simply preserved the empire as he inherited the Mansodar inscription given in the account of the reign. He was a wise in the selection of minister and governor, and administration reform gave stability to the empire. He performed the Ashmaveda sacrifice and assumed the title Mahindra Aditya. His coin showed the figure of riding a peacock. Thus Kumaragupta replaced Garuda with the peacock. He will be remembered in history for giving a long, peaceful and prosperous rule for Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. So Kumaragupta, after Chandragupta II or Chandragupta Vikramaditya, his son Kumaragupta I, his second son Kumaragupta I by his wife Dhruva Swamini inherited the Gupta throne. So Kumaragupta reigned for over 40 years and it was a very prosperous period in the total rule of the Gupta dynasty. So during his reign there was an invention of gold, foreign gold, art and architecture also flourished during his reign. So his numerous gold and silver and copper coins were considered to be a brilliant specimen of art. Kumaragupta inherited the vast empire painstaking created by his father and grandfather. Kumaragupta did not take any military expedition and simply preserved the empire that he inherited. The Mansodar inscription give an account of his reign. He was very wise in selection of his governor, and his administration reform gave stability to the empire. Kumaragupta I also performed Ashmaveda sacrifice and assumed the title Mahendra Aditya. His coin show the figure of riding peacock. So thus Kumaragupta replaced the Garuda with the peacocks. He will be remembered in history for giving a long, peaceful and prosperous rule from the Arabian Sea to Bay of Bengal. Next is Skandagupta. Skandagupta I, 455 CE to 467 CE. Skandagupta is considered by many of the greatest hero of the Gupta dynasty. He ascended the throne after the death of Kumaragupta. After the death of Kumaragupta, Skandagupta ascended the throne. The Junagadh rock inscription and the Ginar rock inscription are important sources information of Skandagupta. So the Junagadh rock inscription and the Ginar rock inscription are the important source of Skandagupta, are the important sources of the information of Skandagupta. Skandagupta had faced a lot trouble immediately after the accession of the throne. The Pushyamitra, who revolted during the reign of Kumaragupta, could not be suppressed due to the old age of the king. Skandagupta suppressed them after strenuous and bitter fight. So Skandagupta had to face trouble immediately after the accession of the throne. So the Pushyamitra who revolted during the reign of Kumaragupta could not be suppressed due to the old age of the king. Skandagupta suppressed them after strenuous and bitter fight. The most remarkable achievement of Skandagupta was the invention of the Hans. After the victory, he took the title. So Vikramaditya, but the victory takes the resources of the empire and his son. The fact that he issued few gold coins, but he undertake great works of public utility. So, after the victory, he took the title. He got the title of Vikramaditya, and but the victory takes the resources of the empire, and is shown by the fact that he issued few coins, but he undertook great work of public utility. Next is decline of the Guptas. The empire created by the Gupta shows signs of decline. So after the death of Skandagupta, they show the sign of decline in the Gupta empire. The following the imperial Gupta fell because of the following reason. First is trouble started among the members of the imperial family for the throne after the death of Buddhagupta, and it led to the partition of the empire. So after the death of Buddhagupta, trouble started among the members of the imperial family, so it led to the partition of the empire. The rival claimant to the throne set up the independent kingdom all over the empire and thus weakened it. Next is the Huns who pushed back Skandagupta reappeared to Indian soil with greater power and ferocity under the chief Toramana and later his son Mihirakula. They overran northern India at the time when the Gupta family was busy fighting among themselves. The Huns who were pushed back by Skandagupta reappeared in the Indian soil with greater power and ferocity under the chief Toramana and later his son Mihirakula. These Huns overran the northern India at the time when the Gupta family were busy fighting with their own problem. Feudatory means a person who holds land under condition of the feudal system. So a feudatory is taking advantage of the weak position of the Gupta kings declared themselves independent. So one such feudal chief was Yasodharman, who not only defeated the Huns but also gave a crippling blow to the Gupta empire. Next heading is subheading is Gupta administration. Under Gupta administration, king was the first. The monarchy in the Gupta age was divine and hereditary in character. The king was considered to be the respective of God on earth. The eldest son in most cases succeeded his father, but there were exceptions. For instance, Skandagupta died without a son, so his brother Purugupta became the king. So Samandragupta, not only the eldest son of Chandragupta I, but he was selected by the next king because of his abilities. So the king monarchy in the Gupta age was defined in the hereditary character, but the king was considered as the representatives of God on earth. The eldest son in most cases succeeded the father, but there was no exception. For instance, Skandagupta died without a son, so his brother Purugupta became the king. Samudragupta was not the eldest son of Chandragupta I, but he was elected as the next king because of his abilities. The king could behave like the dictator and had to obey the laws and land and respect public opinion. The Gupta kings discarded the model title of Rajan and took exalted titles like Maharaja, Dhiraja and Dhiraja. So the king had to behave like a dictator and had to obey the laws, and the king had to obey the laws of the land and respect the king had to respect public opinion as well. So the Gupta kings disregarded the modest title of Rajan and exalted the titles like Maharaja, Dhiraja and Dhiraj. Next is Council of Ministers. During the Mauryan times, the king was assisted by Council of Ministers called the Mahamantri Parishad. So similarly, the Gupta age, the ministerial council was known as Parishad. The council consisted of the Prime Minister who presided over the meeting, Foreign Minister Sandhi V. Grahika, Commander-in-Chief Mahabala Dikrita, the General Mahanandayaka, and chief of the place guard Mahapratihara. These were the names given to the Gupta Council of Ministers. Next is Kumaramatyas and Akyutas. The Kumaramatyas and Akyutas were special class officers. They were the special class officers who served as a link between the central and the provincial government. These officers included the personal staff of the king, and the crown prince, high officials and officials in charge of districts. Next is provincial administration. The Gupta divided the whole empire into provinces known as Bhuktis. The provinces were governed by the princes of royal blood, and they stayed themselves as Uparika, Maharaja, or Pradeshikas. The province further subdivided into district known as Visayas. It was ruled by district governor or Vishapati. Next is Vishayas. Next to Vishayas is Sthali. The Sthali is believed to a large area than a village. Next, the provincial and the district administration is important officials such as Nagara Shreshti, or the president of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce known as Nagara Shreshti, and Prathama Pulika, chief of the guilds of artisans. Prathama Kayasta, the chief writer or administrative officer, and Putsapala, or the keeper, or they are the keepers of the records. Next is village administration. The last administration unit was the village. The village enjoyed a lot of autonomy, and the village enjoyed a lot of freedom during the Gupta period. So the village administration was carried out by the local officials and the village assembly. The most important official in the village was the headman, or the Gramika. He was responsible, as this Gramika were responsible for the administration of all village lands and for construction of pillars to demarcate the boundaries of the village. The next official was Asta Kuladhikarana, who along with the headman played an important role in the purchase, disposal and administration of village land. The village watchman Tala Bataka and land revenue officer Valat Kausan were the important officer beside the Mahamantras. Next is urban administration. The royal Gupta had important cities such as Pataliputra, Ayodhya, Ujjain and Girinagara. The city of administration include the Purarapala, or the mayor, who was the head of the municipality. So this Purarapala, or the mayor, who was the head of the municipality, the mayor was appointed by the Pradeshika of the province. So the mayor was assisted in his work by the city council, which provided all the amenities. This mayor provided all the amenities of the people. These guilds also play an important role in the affairs of the city. Next is social life under the Guptas. Under the social life, the first comes the caste system. The system of four varnas became more established in the Gupta age. They were intermarriage among it. So in the Gupta age, they were the intermarriage in the four varnas. The Gupta also witnessed members of higher classes adopting the profession of the. Even the Gupta age also witnessed the higher class adopting the profession of lower caste. The Chandalas occupy the lowest position in the society in the rank of numerous mixed class. So these Chandalas occupy the lowest caste in the society in the rank of the numerous mixed class. They live as these Chandalas live outside the village. They could not travel at night, and in the day they had to make a sound by striking a piece of wood to avoid contact with the people of higher caste and pollution. So these Chandalas could not travel at night and in the daytime they had to make sound. By striking a piece of wood to avoid contact with the people of higher caste, so they could not pollute them. They were given manual jobs such as carrying unclaimed dead bodies, executing criminal, and scavenging. So these Chandalas were given manual jobs such as carrying unclaimed dead bodies, executing criminals, and scavenging. They were untouchables, and their lives were marked as these Chandalas were regarded as untouchables, and their houses were marked. Besides, the Chandalas were the Aboriginal tribes who lived in the hills and forests and follow obnoxious custom like human sacrifice, kidnapping women for marriage, etc. Slavery. Slavery existed in the Gupta age. The treatment of slaves depended on the personality of the master. So the slavery existed during Gupta age. The treatment of slaves depended on the personality of the master. The Brahmanas could never become slaves, and the scale of purchase of Brahmanas were not allowed. A free woman marrying a slave could become a slave, but the female slave carrying the child of her master would be free. So Brahmanas could never become slave, and the sale and purchase of Brahmanas were not allowed. A free woman marrying to slave would become a slave, but a female slave carrying the child of his master would be free woman. Next subtopic is women. The position of women in the Gupta age from the works of Vatsyayana. Women of high families received excel in the field of education. So there were institutions to impart educational training for men and women during Gupta age. Amar Kosha, a famous work, mentioned women teacher of Vedic mantras, as the women controlled the entire household. There were no proper evidence, as there were also no proper evidence of sati. Widow lived an astral life. Remarriage of widow was not absolutely forbidden, but looked down upon. So widow lived an astral life. Remarriage of widow was not absolutely forbidden, but was looked down upon. Even the practice of Devadasi, or dedicating girl to the service of God in the temples, existed especially in the south. Women in the Gupta age enjoyed the right to property, and they also played role in the public affairs, like Pravati Gupta, daughter of Chandragupta II. Economic. So, and the next topic is economic life under the Guptas. And under the economic life, agriculture. Agriculture in the Gupta age continued to be dependent on rainfall, irrespective of fertility of the soil. So, agriculture depends on the rainfall and infertility, and irrespective of infertility of soil. Mira books, or Mira work, Virat Samhita gives a lot of information of rainfall and agriculture in the Gupta period. The common agriculture tools were the common plow, harrow, hoe, and sickle. Crops grown included many varieties of rice, spices, vegetables, sugarcane, saffron. These were grown during the Gupta period. So punishment in the form of heavy fines were given for destroying agriculture tools, ponds, and dams. So even punishment in the form of heavy fines were given for destroying of agriculture tools, ponds, and dams. On the other hand, a person was rewarded for converting infertile land into a arable land. Next is trade and commerce. Large amount of gold, silver and gold coins were issued by the Gupta ruler, so that trade and commerce flourished in the Gupta period. So the large amount of issued of gold and gold silver coins issued by the Gupta ruler showed that there was a trade and commerce flourished during the Gupta age. The seaport played a major role in the import trade. A major port handled with Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Ceylon, China, etc. Foreign trade of the time also included countries like Persia and Ethiopia. The major objects of trade included spices for exported from Malabar. Even the major objects of trade included spices. The spices were exported from Malabar to Southeast Asia. Fragrant trees exported from Kalyana in the west. Sandalwood and saffron to Rome. Pearls and corals were exported from Pandyan Kingdom. India exported silk from China, ivory from Ethiopia, copper from Mediterranean land, sapphire from Ceylon, and horses from Ariel. These were all the exported items which were exported from many countries. Next is industries. The textile industries was very ancient and important industry. Clothing material include cotton, silk, wool, linen, and barks of trees. The Ajanta caves painting give the evidence of the use of gold and silver, brocade and dye work. So the textile industries were the ancient. These were the very ancient and important industries. So clothing materials included cotton, silk, wool, linen and bark of trees. The Ajanta cave painting give the evidence of use of gold and silver, brocade and dye work. The famous industries were located in Varanasi, Mathura, and Kamarpa, Assam. Next, metallurgy was also important industries, and copper was extensively used to make statues beside other metals like gold, silver, iron, and tin. Mines are located all over the country for procuring metals. So metallurgy was also important, another important industries, and copper were extensively used to make statues beside other metals like gold, silver, and iron and tin. Mines were located all over the country for procuring metal. Next is guilds. Guilds were an important institution in the Gupta age. They enjoyed complete independence in the day-to-day working, and government gave importance to the rules and regulation of the guilds. So these guilds were important institution in the Gupta age. So they enjoyed complete independence in the day-to-day working, and the government gave importance to the rules and regulation of the guilds. There were corporation of guilds, of which the smaller guilds were members. Large guilds were the textile guild undertook large-scale products which included public work, temple, etc. Guilds had their own seals. So the Buddhist Sangha in some places acted as the banker and gave loans on interest. Next is religion. The Gupta age witnessed many new developments in religious life of the people and the personal belief of individual Gupta. Emperors were major factor behind the change. The following religious practice existed during the Gupta period, where the Gupta age witnessed many new development of religious life of the people and the personal beliefs of individual gods. Under this religion, revival of the Brahmanical religion. The Brahmanical religion had lost its importance due to the rise of Buddhism and Jainism in the 6th century CE and their patronage by Mauryan ruler. But in the Gupta age, the Brahmanical religion regained the glorious fortune due to the patronage and of the Gupta rulers. So the Brahmanical religion, who had lost its importance due to the rise of Buddhism and Jainism in the 6th century CE and their patronage by the Mauryan ruler, but in the Gupta age, the Brahmanical religion regained its glorious position due to the patronage of the Gupta ruler. The Holy Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva dominated the entire pantheon. The various names of Shiva, such as Sambhu, Rudra, Pashupati, and Mahakal, were prominent features. Lord Vishnu was also worshipped under different names such as Narayan, Vasudeva, Gadadhar, etc. The 10 incarnations of Vishnu also give importance. The Vedic sacrifices, rituals, and ceremonies such as Asmaveda sacrifices continue to be important features of the Brahmanical religion. Thus, the foundation of the modern Hinduism were led during the period. Sanskrit were used all the purposes of the Gupta during the encourage of it. So, the Holy Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, as Lord Shiva was also known as Shambhu, Rudra, Pashupati, and Mahakal, and even Lord Vishnu were also known by different names such as Narayan, Vasudev, Gadadhar, etc. Even the 10 incarnation of Vishnus were given importance. Vedic sacrifices, rituals and ceremonies such as Asmaveda sacrifice still continue during the Gupta age and given importance. And these were the important features of the Brahmanical religion. Next is changes in Jainism and Buddhism. Buddhism had already split into Hinayana and Mahayana and sects of various other subsects. In the Gupta age, it lost much of its glorious position. Therefore, the followers of the Buddhism, instead of large propagation of the religion, they focus on building beautiful monasteries which serve as academic institutions. So, Buddhism has already split into Hinayana and Mahayana, so they lost their glorious position. Therefore, the followers of Buddhism, instead of propagating the religion, they focus on building beautiful monasteries which serve as academic institutions. They also help in the matter by the ruler. And even by rich followers. The Buddhists also made significant contribution in the literary field. During this period, both the sects were divided into philosophical schools such as Vaibhashika and Madhyamika school. Jainism lost its important position in the east, mainly of Magadha. As this Jainism lost its importance because of Magadha, it grew powerful in the western and southern parts of India during this period. So it grew powerful in the western and southern parts of India during this period. This was due to the patronage of ruling families like the Gujara kings and the Ganga kings of Mysore. Next is Vaishnavism and Saivism as a Sakti cult. Many of the Gupta kings like Chandragupta II and Samudragupta were the followers of Vishnu incarnation. Of Vishnu, like the Vamana Drav, the Varaha board became the part of Vedic literature. Vishnu worship became prominent in the south. Along with Vishnu, his wife Lakshmi was also worshipped. So, this incarnation of Vishnu like Vamana Drav and Vahara board became the part of Vedic literature. So, Vishnu worship became prominent in the south along with his wife, goddess Lakshmi was also worshipped. Saivism also flourished in the Gupta age due to the patronage of the ruler like Skandagupta, Mihirakula and early Kushna's king. It required a dominant position in the south. The Sakti cult of the worship of a female goddess like Durga and Chamunda also flourished. So Saivism also flourished in the Gupta age due to the patronage of Skandagupta, Mihirakula and some of the Kushanas and early Kushana's king. So it's required a dominant position in the south. So the Sakti cult or the worship of the female goddess like Kali and Chamunda were also flourished in the Gupta age. In the next class, I'll be explaining about the cultural life in the Gupta age, learning and literature and some other topics. So that's all for today. Thank you.